All right. We are talking about my new book, Art and DIY Electronics from MIT Press. Just came out today. I'm just seeing it for the first time. This is like the first copy that I actually have held in my hands, and I'm really excited. And I was sitting here literally waiting for it to be delivered, and I thought that I would make short video for each chapter. Um, just as a quick overview, because I wrote about a number of people that I know and different people that I've met and people that I respect. So I just wanted to give a quick overview so that you can get an idea about what is inside. All right, next 3.3, Identity and the Stock Market Skirt by Canadian artist Nancy Paterson. Gender, telerobotics, and clothing as conversation. So the stock market skirt is, I remember when this thing came out in 1998. And it, I was doing telerobotics and was interested in telerobotics at the time. This, this thing is what I had made in 1996. Okay. This could allowed people to draw on the ground. There was also, a really popular project was also the Telegarden by Ken Goldberg at Berkeley, and it was also at USC. Um, Nancy Patterson's stock market skirt, on the other hand, took a completely different angle to this. It what it did is it took stock market prices, monitored them, and it raised the hemline of a skirt up and down based off of the stock price. And this was done way, way back. Nancy Paterson had started working on this project, um, online in 1982. Super, super early internet adopter. Nancy Patterson is no longer alive, and I was happy to talk to her. And she also can be credited with this idea of cyberfeminism in certain respects, and wrote a number of different seminal kind of pieces that make the argument that if women want to be empowered, that they should embrace technology and hack technology and make it their own. Uh, Nancy Patterson took the perspective generally that um, feminism wasn't necessarily about getting back to nature and the earth and nurturing and kind of Gaia kind of concept. Feminism was a, something that should guide an approach to technology, and that people in general should take on technology as part of how they express their identity. Okay, so Patterson does this. Here she is with her head up the skirt of the device, and an old computer doing this, doing its thing. Um, and at the time that this was done, telerobotics is really male dominated, me included. I was building stuff, and a lot of those telerobotic devices were um, kind of like an extension of a human hand. Uh, a lot of the approach that I had seen other people doing before Nancy were doing kind of like, like you push a button here and it does something over the internet at a distance. I had a machine that could draw over a distance. Um, Nancy's, on the other hand, took data, visualized data, and visualized it through this contraption of a skirt going up and down. Now this is actually a reference to this concept that I think Gauss was the person who came up with this theory that in times of financial affluence, society generally has skirts and things that are shorter. When times are good, basically skirts get shorter. When we're in a recession, skirts and clothing become more concealing instead of revealing. So this kind of plays on that, but speeds it up to go really fast. Well, not like every second, but this thing kind of goes up and down very slowly. You can kind of hear it churning and going up and down. It takes a few minutes to realize the correlation between the stock data and the skirt. I should also say thanks to Surrey Art Gallery, who has this in their collection, and whose preparators actually booted this thing, took it out of their storage, booted it up for me, and I got to see this thing in action. Thanks to them for that. This is after I started this project before Nancy was gone, and then concluded it after. So Nancy had also sent me diagrams of how this thing worked and tried to include them there as kind of like a technical overview. And actually, this is something that I try to do in each of these chapters, is give a bit of tech background and schematics into how this stuff actually goes together. And so I think that this is notable because it is one of the first kind of telerobotic info visualizations that I'd ever seen. It also does it on a female body form, which I'd never seen. It's interactive in a way that I hadn't seen. It's more cumulative and collected and synthesized data. It's not individual users. It's kind of visualizing a whole system. And I think that for these reasons, this is a really kind of notable work, both in terms of technology and artistic work. And then I go in to describe this work as, clothing as conversation. This is something that I take from and borrow from my colleagues at Emily Carr. Alende Fraser and Keith Doyle have a project called Clothing as Conversation. I refer to that here and try to extend it out a bit. And I talk about Donna Haraway, Cyborg Manifesto, and a number of other great hits of contemporary writing on technology and culture. So, oh yeah, and I also discuss, similarities with other inventions where this is work by Alice Bygrave in 1895, that this is a skirt that hikes up for the purposes of riding a bicycle. Bicycles were kind of like a big thing in the Victorian era, and were kind of like it's kind of like having a mobile phone or something, or like how you could connect around the city, how you could get around, and also your social status. And for women to, be involved in that, there were several female inventors. Alice Bygrave is one of the better known ones that kind of built technology to help, that kind of embodied kind of an approach to identity and to politics and artifacts and all this kind of stuff. I talk about Bygrave, and then I leave it at that. So that is an overview of Identity and Stock Market Skirt, Gender Telerobotics, and Clothing as Conversation, Chapter 3.3, in the just released today Art in DIY Electronics by me from MIT Press, available everywhere. Thanks.